Hey everyone, this is Divon Delgado, host of my own TV show, Live Guilty Pleasures. It's going to be a show of all shows, live topics, discussions, talking about various subjects, no holds barrier, real talk. Coming right at you. Be back. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Divon Delgado. As some of you might have heard about me, I am an entrepreneur. I am a CEO. I have my own bookstore here in Leon Valley called Devonville Bookstore. We're the home of the $5 and $1 bookstores. We have various different purses. We have jewelry for men and women and fragrances for male and female, and also unisex. Our prices are ranging from $5 to maybe $25. We have gifts for all the family. Just come on by. We have free smiles and our staff is phenomenal. Not because they are my family, but they believe in my dream and in the store. This Devonville Bookstore, 6412 Bandera Road. Want to make sure to tell you about that. I am also a six-time published author. My first book went to Survival Redemption, went to Obama, Michelle, and the Secret Service, the White House, which I did get an acknowledgement for. I have three children's books, children's series called Hound Dog and Mariah Daring Adventures. It also includes Picasso Delgado. My fifth book has last year officially sold 500,000 copies. 500,000 copies in 5 minutes, guys. 500,000 copies in 5 minutes. My Demon World by me became a national bestseller, which catapulted me to national bestseller status, which was phenomenal. 5 minutes, 500,000 copies sold. Don't forget to get your copy. And of course, my latest book is called Tales of Mama, which is a story about my mom and just growing up living with her. It pays homage because of the ones that have read Survivor Redemption in English and Spanish. You have known and read about the trials and tribulations that I went through, and of course, I had to face with demons and different things that were going on with my life, including situation with my own mother. So in the children's book, my Tales of Mama, excuse me, I wanted to make sure to share a light to her because she is one of my biggest fans and one of my number one supporters, and you would usually find her in the weekend with me at Devonville Bookstore unless we're shooting videos or other things that we're doing. I do have my own publishing company with Devonville Publishing, which I'm proud to do. And of course, I want to thank you all for joining in and being a part of this. Guilty Pleasures, this talk show, when I was approached with this, I wanted to make sure to be real talk to us. Any topics and so just coming at you and want to make sure. I have for my first guest. Her name is Krissy Nash. And when we come back, we're gonna come back and we'll meet Miss Krissy Nash. That'll be my next guest. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow guests, and for all y'all watching and supporting Guilty Pleasures with your host, of course, Divon Delgado. I am so honored and humbled to have Miss Krissy Nash. And if you know Miss Krissy Nash, this young lady, this beautiful young lady, is very, very hard to find, very hard to get a hold of. If you don't have an appointment, if you won't be able to find her. You will not be able to get a hold of her. But I wanted to share with Krissy about Krissy Nash. I am writing my 7th book, which is also going to be a horror. It's called Kill Krissy. It does talk about my little sister, but it's a nonfiction. It's a fiction book, and we are going to have some true facts in there mixed in with her life and some of her journals coming from it. But basically, Kill Krissy is about a serial stripper killer, female killer that has been killing in the last 5 years in 3 different states, from Texas, California, to Nevada, excuse me. And she's been trying to kill her twin brother, which is Chris, for the last 13 years. So which twin is going to stay alive? But anyway, this is Krissy Nash, the infamous, I call her, Krissy Nash. I want to just have you on the show and just talk about what is life being you, Krissy Nash.
Very interesting.
Okay. Tell us about yourself, but being a single parent and everything you've lived through, because you've lived quite a life.
Yes, my very long walk of life was very, very long, and I I've done a lot of dangerous things in my life, and I've taken a lot of unexpected turns. I am a single parent today. I've had a long, hard life. I've been sexually abused when I was little. I've been abused in all kinds of ways. Now I'm a single parent of 1, and he was a runaway. I haven't seen him over 3.5 years, and so now I got him. I have custody of him, of course. And it's just everything in my past is just, I'm just going with the future. And I feel honored being here today, Mr. Divon.
So as far as being a single parent and all the struggles you've been through, and you named your children, because you have a total of 5 kids.
6.
6 kids, excuse me, 6 kids. And they're all in different environments, different placements. You know, some we still have contact with and some we do not. How does that make you feel?
Well, I know where they're at, and they're in a safe place, and I am able to have contact visits with them, of course. But as far as everything else, I've been doing good. I'm clean. I'm sober, and I'm in and out of the hospital constantly because I have medical issues. But other than that, I'm a proud single parent mom, and I'm doing a good job, and gonna stick to it. It's very interesting being a mom, which I'm 38 years old. I'm an alcoholic, and being alcoholic and had to quit cold turkey.
Cold turkey. It's very, very different. Of course, Krissy. We have similar past upbringing. We were both sexually abused, and I talk about it. And my book went and has done so much for me and for the family, and catapulted my career and so forth. Unfortunately, you know, some of us being abused, we take different routes, ways of coping mechanisms. And Ms. Krissy, like she's talking about, with drugs, alcohol, and doing just because of the sexual abuse. How did you tell us a little bit, whatever you want to talk about that? So, about being, an alcoholic and trying to stop that.
It was really hard, but it was like a wake-up call, especially that their dad had taken his 4 kids, took them away from me because I had gotten into dancing at the local strip clubs, having fun, drinking, doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that, being involved with the girls there, which was pretty fun. But sorry.
But you had to make a living Because
Yes,
coming from, you have a ninth grade education, and yet you've done so much with your life. You had many cars that you had paid for, and I mean, among like how I've done stuff with my life, you've done extraordinary things also, but in a different way of life. You've helped family
I've had my
members,
own business before.
home business, entrepreneur, and you have all that from you. So people can look up to your strength of everything you've been through, of being abused, and I know you had mentioned, being abused, and you had mentioned also about being raped. And what made you change
I'm very
yourself?
protective with my children, myself as well. I am not really too much involved with any man. I just rather just I didn't believe in God, but now I do, and it's just like terrible how now I open up my eyes to shine the light.
And a lot of it you say is because of your medical. You've been dealing with, loss of a kidney, diagnosed with a kidney failure and other
Now I have
issues.
liver failure as well. My liver's not working right, among other issues. So it's very difficult.
So now you're clean and sober, and we're all as far as a family, myself and of course our lovely cousin Brenda Lee. We have really stepped up and tried to come together, because now the funny thing is, until you realize that you have an issue and you want to have help, you're not gonna get help. You're not gonna let people help you.
I
And
seek
now
help.
she helps us. Tell us about that. What made you
I
change?
seeked help. I went into the emergency room and I told them that I am suicidal and that I wanted to just end my life because my kids were taken away because I was under the influence, because they had gotten hurt under their dad's care. I didn't know where they were at. Now I found out where they were at, but I was out there partying.
Different part of your life, you were still dealing with what you were dealing with, your
Yes,
coping mechanism, especially from your childhood and what was going on. But what made you now change and want help?
my children, they need me, and I had to cut cold turkey.
I remember Krissy talking to me and having a one-on-one discussion right after coming out of the hospital and telling me, I'm ready to get help. I know I'm an alcoholic. I know I'm a drug addict. I'm ready to give up dancing as a grandmother, still dancing as a stripper, and wanting to give that up and everything, and wanting to do better for herself, knowing you only have so much time on this world. And I applaud when you told me that. And that's why myself and, like I said, other family members, including Brenda, we stepped in and decided we are going to help you, and we're doing what we can because now you're ready. Big accomplishment.
I wanted to say something. I'm not really a drug addict. I was experimenting. I did try some. I did do some, but my choice of drug was alcohol. So I just wanted to correct that.
Alcoholism. But
Yes,
still,
but alcohol is a choice of a drug. And
definitely.
wanting to seek help as in AA and NA, that does work. Inpatient, I've done that. I got out of there, and it's just like it didn't do no good for me. I've been outpatient. I'm still doing outpatient, and it's just wonderful being around. What you have to do is you have to get away from your past. You have to leave your past. You cannot be around the people that are still doing drugs,
Influencing you and so forth,
yes, and
definitely.
the wrong environments and all that. You have to be around positive people that doesn't do any of that.
Tell us this is a new thing that her and we call ourselves twins. So if you ever hang around with us, and there's our crazy thing is she nearly just dyed her hair blonde and cut it short. And I used to be blonde and my hair was that short too. So there's pictures of us that we look so much identical. But we have so much upbringing that we grew up the same way and different with the same kind of abuse and hurt. But the funny thing about it is that we were talking about this and we talk a lot. We always keep in contact. And she had said that she has premonitions. She'll see things in the future. She'll see things happening, and then they happen. And so do I. All of my business ventures, all of my books, people I've met, vacations, going to Miami, South Beach, Hawaii. I've visioned that, saw things happening, and actually did happen. Writing music for, different Grammy Award winners, and and she has the same gift. We call it gifts. And yesterday she was telling me, tell us about your gifts. Tell us about being not being psychic, but your premonitions.
I've been told that.
So how does it? What happens when you? Tell us about
I
it.
just like kind of go like on a daze, and it's kind of like a daydream, kind of, but it's normally like a positive, and it could be about somebody or something, or just something that has nothing connected to what I'm going through that day. And it's just weird how sometimes in reality, it does occur before it happens, and it's just I have no idea why that is.
Are you around some people and you can? Because I know we were talking about it sometimes. Because I have the same thing. We're around some people and we can feel something, and we're like, okay, a premonition. We're like, this is going to happen to the person, or we see that them, winning an award,
I feel
or
like I'm an angel and he's also an angel. And normally when I'm around somewhere, a lot of times it's because I feel something negative, and I'm there to protect who I am around. I'm there to protect the establishment environment or the people that's there. And that would be the only reason why I would be there around majority of the time, because to
help people. And the thing we talk about as far as angel wise is a lot of people have told us, at different times, not together, but that we're like people that are not real people in the world. Not as far as being fake, but like angels, because we make things happen. We bring blessings. It's some of the things we've done and we've experienced. You cannot explain. And I can tell you this one thing. This next book, Kill Krissy, I've been writing it for almost 3 years. And the scary thing about it, when I started writing it's the fiction. Everything that I would write, because it's based on her, everything that I would write, it somehow came true. And it talks a lot about, there's a lot of real information, in there. But then of course, yeah, there's 3 stabbings, and multiple things, which is, you have to read the book, and it's going to come out soon. I pay homage. I dedicate the book towards Krissy, and it's an unreal feeling to be able to write something, and then a month or 2 later, it happens. And I can tell you something in the book. There was a situation where I get a call from my alarm system. They're like, they're breaking in. Somebody came into one of your guest bedrooms, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I run home, and in my premonition, I saw somebody coming into my guest bedroom and eating an apple and being on my bed. Well, when I got to my house, I looked in my room. I couldn't see any intrusion, but I went to the room where they talked to, and there was a half-eaten apple on the bed. No one else lived in that house. No one else was there. It was my house. And that's a little part of Kill Krissy. But, I had written that about a month and a half ago, and it happened to the T. And that's some of the things that we talked about.
I like to eat apples.
She likes to eat apples. That's one of the things. Tell us about can you talk about being schizophrenic and being diagnosed about that?
Yes. I take pills. I take medications. I take like 7 pills a day.
The names, the different...
Like Risperdal, typical...
Some
anxiety pills.
Can we talk about your different personalities, the different names?
I also am... I also have
multiple personalities.
Yes, personality disorder.
So how do you know which one is happening? Because I can tell majority of the time, especially when she talks.
Well, now I'm being forced into being Krissy.
So this is Krissy. Did you want to, is there anything positive for the future? What do you see yourself in a couple of years?
A full-time business mom.
Okay. And then having your Mercedes-Benzes again.
Oh yeah, my son, I'm gonna have my kids with me since I didn't lose custody to them, and
you're on the road back to recovery.
Yes, I've been in and out of the hospital. Sad to say, 5 hospitals within 2 months is pretty terrible. Next time I go in, it's just bad. Okay,
so we're gonna go ahead, and I definitely thank you for being on my show for Guilty Pleasures. I had to have one of my guests, of course, Miss Krissy Nash. We'll be right back in a little bit. Thank you so much for being on Guilty Pleasures. It was a pleasure. Welcome back to Guilty Pleasures. I'm your host, Divon Delgado. I am so grateful and happy to be here with you, going live with my studio live audience and of course my guest. We did have, quite a bit of different lineup today. My lineup, I wanted to definitely do the best that I can. For the ones that couldn't make it today, I understand. We'll definitely do something else moving forward. But I wanted to talk about my books because a lot of you, excuse me, know that I am very humble. I like to give back to our community and do whatever you can. So if any of you ever want to use me, want to make sure, just reach out to me on social media and so forth, and I would definitely be more than happy to help you. I've given and I've donated lots of my time and my books to different organizations that I believe in, especially that are involved in children. Being a past CASA advocate for almost 3 years, being a foster parent for 2 years, and then I was a media chairperson for JDRF, which is Juvenile Diabetes Organization, for almost 2 years. Just basically just doing whatever I can to help the community, especially with kids, and a child specialist for 2.5 years with St. Jude's Ranch for children that was here and also in Nevada, 3 different locations. Um, Anything I can do to just help the children. So first of all, I want to tell you about my first book, which is Survival and Redemption. As you can see, this was me when I was 5 years old, and of course, this started it all. This started everything for me, Divon Delgado. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. This is a book that went to Obama and Michelle, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama at the White House and the Secret Service. I did get a call from the Secret Service and was questioned about it. And then after about less than a month, I received an acknowledgement signed by our past Mr. and Mrs. Obama, our president, our past president and first lady. But this is called Survival Redemption. It's my life story. It's my autobiography. And basically, I was 3 years old when I first met my abuser. Mental, physical, and sexual abuse was my everyday hell that I was now living. I was raped, beaten, and strangled with the phone cord. After abuse was told, my mother abandoned me. The devil bought her a house, a car, and gave money to get rid of me. My mother started revenge plots against me. I once wanted my abuser dead for all he did to me, but with God's help, He helped me forgive him with all my heart. Picking up the pieces, I saw the light, and this made me stronger to fight others that don't have the voice. No one fought for me. For as a child, because of that, I will be the voice of others, especially the children. Abuse is all around us. Help me fight this battle for all children and people to stop the secrets and lies and this abuse. This is my life story that I wrote my first book. You can also see them in Amazon, Barnes& Noble, Vaudeville Bookstore, lots of different websites. Amazon selling it from $20 to almost $100 to $200 for this book, which is, awesome. But of course, you can always go to my store and get it, for the best affordable price. This is my second book also, and for y'all, some of y'all may have heard about this. This is my first ever series of children's books. It's called Hound Dog and Mariah's Journey Adventure, the tale of their love and loyalty. These are actually my real dogs, Hound Dog Ramirez and Mariah Star Delgado. I talked about bullying, talked about sharing, and I talked about their act of courageous, helping, their love. They actually did save my life. I was 6 months crippled, and it's a great thing. So basically, this is a wonderful children's book about a story of pets that save lives and go above and beyond for help. Bullying and sharing are the subject matters expressed in this book. Pets to some people like me are considered to be a part of a family. We treasure them and love them so much. This book has cartoon pictures of Hound Dog, Mariah Star, and me, which we will have everyone following with this sweet story. And there's different pictures. My children's books aren't like several or other different children's writers that talk about green eggs and ham, my name is Sam, stuff like that. My books are intended for children to be able to have interaction with their family, their guardianship, whoever they're taking care of or being with in presence, to be able to have the bond that we are missing with our children and let them explore in different life. But anyway, in Amazon.com was selling this book for $975, almost $1,000. It's normally sold for $24.95. Of course, you can always get it at Devonville Bookstore for a lot less. This is my second children's book. My third book became, in Spanish, Survival Redemption. Salvación y Redención. This is Spanish. And on my first book. And then, of course, we go on to my second children's book with my fourth book, which is Hound Dog and Mariah's Help Find Picasso a Forever Home. And this is my newest dog, my pet, Picasso Delgado, his life story. So it says, Hound Dog and Mariah Help Picasso Find a Forever Home is a tale of the Picasso's courageous battle for his life as he deals with abandonment, neglect, abuse, adoption issues, and finding a forever home. Hound Dog and Mariah show Picasso that there is a light after all you've been through. There are others that will love and support you, just like in this world. Surround yourself, like how Krissy stated. Surround yourself with the love and positive. If family members are not positive and not love and encouraging you, get them out of your life. And believe me, it's hard to do that. And I've had to walk away from family members, from fathers, from brothers, from sisters, from cousins, friends, ex-relationships. If they're not right for you, believe me, walk away. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life. Anyway, at the end, the back, it does have a picture, a lovely picture of my dog, Picasso. And he is a remarkable, remarkable pet, and I love him. And if anyone knows about a forever home, it's about children that have been adopted, abused, and neglected, abandoned, and escaped custody, where I used to work at it. Picasso's life story was like that. This is his life story. And of course, our fifth book became national bestseller, 500,000 copies sold within 5 minutes. My Demon World, the constant battle in a young man's mind. My Demon World. Growing up in an abusive home, Michael discovers the only way to keep his mind occupied is by talking to the voices of comfort that surround him. After several shocking circumstances as a teen, he finally breaks free from the misery of his youth and escapes to find happier environment. Yet, the cold world offers too many evil temptations, and even after changing his name to start a new life, the spirit of 7 schizophrenic personalities have already taken his soul hostage, leaving a confused young man on a very turbulent journey. This is my national bestseller book, my first horror book. It's awesome. I finished writing it after I came back from Ecuador and Peru for 15 days out of the country, and I had lost my first grandma, Grandma Mary Daywood, which was very, very positive influence in my life, and I only knew her for a short period of time. For everyone that knows the story about that. But I did write that, and I did dedicate this book to her because she is one of my angels. And the last is Hound Dog, Mariah, and Picasso Tales of Mama, which is a story dedicated to my mom. 12 paws of approval. Sit back with Hound Dog, Mariah, Star, and Picasso for the Tales of Mama, based on an author's love for his mother, Linda, which is my mom. Prepare to laugh and say, "Oh no, you didn't." Both adults and children will enjoy the humor of parenthood as well as seeing other side of Divon Delgado's writing style. It was because of his mama that Divon never gave up on his dreams and felt as though he could accomplish anything he could put his mind to. Pick your curiosity with a light-hearted read. Hound Dog, Mariah, Star, and Picasso give us their bark of approval, of course. And in the back, it has a picture of me and my mom. And like I said, she, from the first book, to being one of the monsters, to being one of my cheerleaders. It's a big, big difference. Anyways, we'll be right back and we'll live show. Thank you for watching Guilty Pleasure with Divon Delgado. Welcome back to Guilty Pleasures, of course, with your host, Divon Delgado. And we have lovely Krissy Nash one more time. So we came back today and we're going to just talk about our childhood.
Yes, it was so not lovely. It was horrible. As a matter of fact, we were both sexually, mentally, physically abused by the same person, our stepfather, which he's gone.
He's no longer, we buried him. And I talk about it in my first book, Survive Redemption. I did get everyone's signed off and approval to release the book. And Krissy wanted to share about that. So share about the childhood, what you want to talk about.
It was terrible. I was raped, and it was just really bad. I don't remember much, but I do remember he used to throw me big cockroaches and have like cockroaches under my pillow, and he knew I was scared of them.
I talk about it in the book, in Survive Redemption. We would share, at one point when we were younger, we did share a room together, and then we got towards middle school, or not middle school, but like almost middle school, that we were secluded all the time from different rooms. And he would throw cockroaches, which is our stepfather would throw cockroaches, real cockroaches, live ones, and he would throw lizards. So those were our phobias growing up. Now we're just like whatever with them, but we also see that was part of the torment, some of the torment that he would do to us. And I do talk about it. I talk about a lot of stuff in this book. That's why it's done so well, and it's gone through so many. It's gone through so many. It's gone to suicidums. It's gone to correction camps. It's gone to people that have men that have actually abused predators. and actually, women that stood by them because our mother stood by him. I remember a time, and I talk about it in the book, when one of the on Florida Street, when we had the
Yeah, we
glass.
broke the glass on the top because we were fighting or something.
Right, we saw we snitch
I
on
remember
each
when I
other.
stabbed him one time because they sent us to the store for bread. I was gonna say beer.
They used to always send us to a store
Bread,
when we were small. We didn't know where we were
bread,
going.
ice, and a soda. He made me carry all of it. So I had a pencil right here from school, and I just stabbed him, and it just went like right here. I didn't know. I wasn't trying to kill him.
That's in my seventh book, but yes, that's one of the stabbings she talks about. She stabbed. We were like maybe I think
It
I was
was
like
me.
8 or 7, and I think she was like 5.
One time I stabbed him with a belt knife.
Yeah, but
Because
anyway,
I was stabbing my parents' brand new couches, and I thought it was so awesome because it was like the right thing to do at the right
at the
time.
right time,
And he was like, "Don't be doing that. We can't even afford them. We just got them. They're brand new." And so
And-
he tried to take it away from me, and then I stabbed him.
and that's where I have a scar here on my palm.
That's just one of them.
That's one of them. But the one with the pencil, she stabbed me near my midsection, and I had to. Each time I was rushed to the hospital, but I was only about 7 or 8, and she was 5 when that happened, and that is all part of Kill Krissy. That's coming at you. There's so much things in there. You're gonna be. This story is, like I said, it's fiction, like my demon wrote, but it's gonna be off the chain.
But I love my older brother. My baby brother, I ran him over with one of my cars because he wanted to get out the way. When I felt the big old bump, I was like, "Oh, I don't see my brother. You better stop." So my brother, he got out from under, and I took off.
But again, growing up with the family and so forth, it's so strange how our family, we had all this abuse going on, and yet like our smaller siblings had no, and those were the only
They
ones
weren't
that
even
his
abused.
kids.
They were spoiled.
But those were his
I have
kids.
iron marks because my mom would put a hot iron on me.
Well, the thing was that, we both kind of helped each other out growing up, trying
We
to.
ran away together. We were holding hands, trying to figure out how to cross the street to talk about our abuser abusing us to the police station.
That's when we were we were like not even middle
I didn't even
school.
know how to cross the street. We were holding hands. Our mom was, she was.
And we used to do a little thing, and I talk about it in Survivor Redemption.
The
Well,
pizza.
the pizza
The
box.
pizza.
So we used to stand together, and
We had dares.
We had dares because we had this. We were being abused, being molested, and different things, and we knew about it, but we couldn't do anything about it. And my mother knew that, of course, I was being beaten, and because I was supposedly spoiled, and I was always
I was
isolated.
jealous of him.
And her, nobody, they didn't know about the abuse because of course, mom was the one that was always throwing things at you, sartenes and shoes and that everything. But the crazy thing is, we would to just pass time and just, I guess, to give ourselves, some kind of fun, because with this crazy life we were living, we would stand out there. We would get boxes from nearby neighborhoods, like pizza boxes, with no pizza because we never had food. We were so poor. And we used to
I
stand
had
in the
one
street,
slice of bread with sugar.
and we were like maybe like in our like 9, 10, not even that age, because we were like about 2 years apart, 1 to 2 years apart. And we used to stand out there and say free pizza sale, and people would stop and they would try to take us and stuff. It was so
Yeah,
horrible.
they would try to kidnap him more.
And it was always in the night. Where the parents were, we don't know. But we would run out, we would do things like that, and we were always going to the store and by ourselves, and we would do whatever, and just any dares we could do just to live. We had a fantasy world, unfortunately. We lived in a fantasy world because of all the abuse and the hate that we were getting growing up, and it was very difficult because family members and people knew bits and pieces, but no one stepped in, no one helped us. And that's why I'm a voice, and whenever I see things, I'm the first person to say something, because our children they're gonna end up coming up, and they're gonna go through so much, and you never know, they can turn to alcohol or they can turn to other things and so forth. Anything, any other funny things besides?
No, this was a very interesting day, the way it started, and now the way it is. It's just so awesome how life is. It's just like a turn for better things.
And I'm glad you were there for me, especially starting the day. Yeah, today was definitely, it started off different, and
I took my medications,
my
my psych meds. Yes.
But anyway, anything you want to tell your kids or your fans?
I love
or
all my kids,
your
and I
family
love
members?
all my fans, and I love you women.
I want to say a shout out,
I
of
am
course.
available.
I want to say a shout out to, of course, our angels in the sky, Grandma
Yes.
Rosalie Delgado, which we do. I know we both do see her, and we do feel her presence.
Rodriguez.
I call her Delgado, but she does Rodriguez. We feel her presence, especially in Devonville Bookstore. That's why it strives and is doing so well. Thank you. We just want to say I love you. We miss you. It's been a year since you were in the hospital and you went in a coma. And July the 4th of July coming up, it'll be a full year you actually passed away. But you're still in our hearts. And of course, my Uncle Joey, that's been a garden and a blessing and been through my life. And my grandma Mary. You want to give
Yes. I want a big
shout out?
shout out to MGM Cabaret.
But anyway, don't forget to come and check out Devonville Bookstore, 6412 Bandera Road, San Antonio, Texas, Leon Valley. We are open this month as of June, 7 days a week. Normally, we're open Wednesday through Sunday. Call and make sure to get find out the information and go by and stop by. Remember, we're the home of the $1 and $5 books. We have a totally lots of things. Anything else you want to talk
Yes.
about?
Go to MGM Cabaret. They're open 24 hours. Tell them Krissy Nash, the crazy girl,
It's a strip
sent
place.
you. It's a strip club. Open 24 hours. Krissy Nash sent you. All right. Tell them you want a $10 discount.
$10 discount from awesome
Yes.
Krissy Nash.
Yes.
Well, it was definitely awesome. I'm glad
too.
I'm glad to have this time to be able to be with you. And I know a lot of people didn't want to, experiment stuff like this.
BYOB 18 and up must have valid ID.
But
Hot girls.
but anyway, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
All the hotties at MGM Cabaret. I'm just kidding.
So we're gonna go. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So that was yes.
Yes.
So
We had fun growing up. I miss him so much. I remember when he had an apartment, a garage apartment. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was horrible.
I got kidnapped at age 15, which I tried to run away and ended up getting kidnapped by a 38-year-old man, my first husband that I was forced to marry at age, I had just turned 15. It was really crazy. I was 3 blocks away. Trapped in a little room with a restroom shower for 3 months. That's why I have this little 3 tattoo. And it's also because it stands for my oldest son.
And that time when moving out, I was barely 17, and I was living on my own since I was 16, and I was living in the back of a house in a garage apartment of efficiency. And she went in hiding into my house because she escaped her husband.
Yeah, he was
abusing her and all
he's the
that.
one that had kidnapped me.
And he actually came to my house, busted my windows, blood everywhere. It was a crime scene from bananas.
Yes.
Do you remember
I was scared.
Do you remember when y'all called the state hospital? You and Brenda called the state hospital on me at that apartment?
No, she did. My cousin called the state hospital. She said that they needed to come pick him up. And I told her, why are you calling them? I was scared they were going to come pick me up.
This is all in the same house. Because we were all teenagers living by ourselves. So we had lights.
They actually came and picked him up.
No, they tried coming, didn't, but they knew that I wasn't crazy, which is great. Of course, when you read Survivor Redemption, you'll find out different other things going on.
We have other books.
And we have other books, but a lot of that story's not in there because that was our personal story. And of course, but let's go ahead and let's take a break, and we're going to come right back. And thank you so much, Krissy Nash. It was a pleasure being here. Love you.
Love you too.
Welcome back, guys, damas and caballeros, to Guilty Pleasures with your host, Divon Delgado. As you know, we just had Krissy Nash, and you found out some stuff that you probably didn't even know. Now I'm joined with, of course, my sidekick, my other half, Carmelo Castro. I want to bring Carmelio Castro, here and just find out how is it working and being and living with Divon Delgado.
It's an adventure. Every day it's an adventure, something new.
Always something new.
Always something new.
What were you talking about today about like things that are just not realistic or things that are just like
Things. It's like this is different from one thing to another, and it's kind
things
of like watching it from like I feel like I'm watching a reality show sometimes with him, and I'm like, what's going on? Like this is real.
this is real life stuff that's happening day to day. I call up friends and family members or whoever. And I'm like, I need this done. Let's do this. Let's this popping. Let's get going. That's what's connections. Always good to network and don't burn bridges, guys. Don't burn bridges. You want to talk about anything about yourself? Anything at all? Any shout outs?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Because Mr. Carmelo he had expressed to me the other day, he wanted to make sure his name was known. Since it's always Divon Delgado and everyone can Google me. Google me, botch! That's my new line. Google me, botch.
Right, but that you had to bring that up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow. um.
Hi, Monica. Anyway, so Google me, botch, before he gets his thoughts into line. That came across when we were driving, Monica and I, one of my old, anyway, we were driving and this lady cut me off and I'm like, oh, MG, and I'm like, Google me, botch. And after that, we just started laughing. So that's where that catchphrase came from. So I use it every so often. But anyway, back to you, Mr. Carmelo.
No, I'm good. I'm good. You were gonna mention something about your products.
You gonna talk about anything else about yourself?
I'm good.
Okay. Any shout outs? No highs? Nothing?
I have no eyes.
Anything about yourself? Anything interesting about yourself?
Not at this time. I'm working on me. That's all I can say.
Well, look out for Mr. Carmelio Castro because Mr. Carmelio Castro, I have my pet peeve with Mr. Carmelio Castro is that he'll be posting stuff and I'm like, Mr. Carmelio, for real, what does that have to do with anything to do with us or with the books or with anything? But it's his own funniness. He's Mr. Selfie, but I love the selfies he does with the doggies, with Hound Dog Mariah and Picasso, because he captures some pictures with them and he loves to rub Mr. Hound Dog Ramirez's little old toes and feet and mess with Mr. Picasso's tail, and the dogs love him. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for being a part of the show, Mr. Carmelo Castro. It was a pleasure.
Sure.
And there's Krissy. We'll be right back in a second. Thank you. Welcome back to Guilty Pleasures. I want to give a shout out to our viewers, Mary, Priscilla, Diana, everyone else that's watching. Thank you for being a part of this, and for the ones that are going to be watching later on, thank you. Don't forget Devonville Bookstore, 6412 Bandera Road. Guilty Pleasures is going to be on live. You got to just let us, we'll give you more on the show times and the dates. And of course, our phone number for Devonville Bookstore is 210-858-4929. So don't forget to go there, 6412 Bandera Road. These are some of our purses. They range from $5 to about mostly $5 to $25. I do have this one that is just at $34.99. It has a matching clutch purse. Very gorgeous. And then of course this one with the little diamonds, $26. Of course we have another one, black and white. That one's $27. And we got the pink and one little thing. And this is just barely the $25. And of course when you come to Devonville Bookstore, we have several other prices and sizes. Of course, lovely Krissy Nash, my Vanna White here is assisting me. And these are all $26. We have a pink, real pretty pink, a white, and then this teal baby blue. Any of your choice. We have a bunch. We also have men's and women's fragrances, and of course we have necklaces, sterling silver, custom jewelry. We have books, toys, food, snacks. We have coffee. We have our beautiful Devonville coffee, flavored coffee, which is delicious, and of course free Wi-Fi. Come on down. It's one of the fun things. But I just wanted to say thank you so much. On behalf of course, Krissy Nash is on her phone now,
Hi.
Tagging and telling people where.
It's his phone. I'm being nosy. My twin.
Or she's on my phone, as you can see. But anyway, I wanted to tell you thank you so much for being a part of Guilty Pleasure. It was an honor to be your host. And definitely tune in to more wacky and fun excitement and see who else is going to be our next guest coming up. We have a lot of great lineup coming in. So don't forget to also stop by Devonville Bookstore. Thank you again to Carmelio, Castro, and our staff, and everybody, and Adam, and all our viewers, and everyone out there watching.
Hot
Peace.
Adam.